You're listening to The Divide right here on The Gambler.
And we are back. Divide Live, Fox Sports The Gambler. Got into some week 3 NFL talk last segment. Let's do a little bit of pop culture. Let's get into some things because the internet's been crazy. I'm not talking just this last week, but the last 2 weeks. But more notably, and this is what I want to start with, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen, how do I phrase this? The aliens from Mexico? I almost said Mexican aliens. That wouldn't have been good.
So, yeah. Talk about
does anybody believe
that could be chopped up and
yeah, exactly. Does anybody believe this though? There are two. So news broke. Officials in Mexico claim they discovered alien remains, and it's not even from Mexico. Apparently, they discovered them in Peru in 2017.
Yes.
But now they're mysteriously in Mexico.
Right.
Meanwhile, Mexican news outlets broke this news, and Peru was like, "What? What happened?
How'd you get our aliens?
Yeah. You found what here?" Is it like?
Do
you believe this? Number one,
it looks too much like every cartoon version of aliens that we've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but with that said, you've seen them on caves and stuff, and certain hieroglyphics that suggest that that's an alien-like creature, and that's apparently where they got that type of rendering of an alien.
Big head,
skinny chin. Yeah. You know, but it's weird, man. You got a lot of scientists saying that they can't figure out the DNA, and for reference, like our DNA versus animal DNA is very similar, right?
We are like 96% compatible with chimpanzee,
and they're saying this is
DNA.
Like 60% compatible, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, something close to those lines. So it's very baffling. And so far, every scientist that has looked at it, the only thing they could say is it looks too realistic to what we would assume an alien would look like.
Right. And these are all scientists from Mexico.
Yeah,
we have yet to have an independent scientist look at this. You guys had to have seen it. It's all over this. I just feel like if this came out of, it's not so bad, the Mexican government has a shady past.
Yeah,
I'll say it.
That's fair.
I feel like if this came from like, top story from France today,
I love when people say,
I mean?
I'll say it. You already said it.
Actually, speaking of which, I had to do a sidebar here with you. Do you know, after listening to all of our shows,
yeah,
you,
Bert, brain aneurysm.
You, Bert, I had germs, but I forgot it. You guys all repeat like you're gonna. This is really gonna mess you up.
No,
like certain things. Like, do you want to know what your thing is? What you say the most? Like what phrase?
Go ahead.
Hear me out.
Yeah, because you don't hear me out.
Exactly. That's perfect for the show.
Yeah,
do you know what Bert says? If you can think, when he's making any point at all. No,
what is it?
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. This is what it is. Plain and simple.
That's tough,
I know it is. Plain and simple.
What is germs?
This is I can't figure germs. I had it. He says it a couple times.
What is yours?
I feel like I go look all the time. Look.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like that's what I
We're having a debate. And somebody asked me, like, do you debate friendly or unfriendly? I was like, oh, watch our show. You'll find out. So it was
one time we should just reach across the desk and start choking each other out. This is wild. Anyway, back to aliens. So no independent scientists. Also, you saw that like they were in like a similar case. You keep your Hojo sign baseball. You know what I mean? Like
Joho.
My Dan Marino signed footballs in a nicer case than what they like. It's like got cloth in it, like a silk, and it's like, but in Mexican Congress building where it's like you don't want to get this someplace sterile. Like these are supposed to be aliens here. Like it was just. The whole thing is just weird, man.
It's like somebody found in their basement, like somebody finds like a Babe Ruth rookie card or something. Like it's just like, we got them.
Like the things look like they're made of paper mache, and it's just again, if it came like this was from Germany or Switzerland or like even Egypt. If you had said this came from Egypt, I'd be like the oldest civilization. I think that's I don't know. Don't fact check me. Don't go routers on me or anything. But like the oldest civilization, if it came from there, like okay, that would make sense. But I don't know.
Like it should. You would think it would start popping up everywhere, and maybe it will. Like because that's what the UFOs did at first. Like at first it was like,
But even then, the government released those videos, and we were like,
but imagine if we got annihilated by those tiny little guys.
I know that kind of freaks me out, man.
Yeah,
and they're so well preserved. Like, don't you think there'd be anyway? So that there's the big alien thing.
Let's clone one.
Well, when you're looking at the DNA and it's like there's like however much percent that they can't figure out, like we don't know what that is. We don't. It's
love
it's
it. I
nothing.
love it.
That's what it is.
I love it.
We lost a jet, Mike.
We did, and not Aaron Rodgers.
No, God, no.
Well, we lost
no.
that jet too.
An F-35 jet, a Marine Corps base out of South Carolina, lost a jet, like a $1 jet.
Yeah.
And the best part is about all this is it was on autopilot for 24 hours.
I love it.
And that's how they couldn't find it. Apparently, the pilot had to safely eject.
Both pilots, yeah.
There's two. This just says the one.
Okay.
It could be both. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I saw.
How do you lose the jet?
How do you never know if it's true? But I saw 2 parachutes come out. So maybe he had a side chick with him.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
And the girl, his wife, started FaceTiming him. He just hits the button. No, no.
Just pulls the lever. And says, "Oh, sorry, somebody else's problem."
But yo, the funniest meme I saw about this was, "Dude, where's my jet?"
Where's your jet, dude?
And it was
Ashton Kutcher and the other guy, Stifler.
By the way, we don't know his name. Everybody knows Kutcher's name, but
it's Sean something.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Sean Stifler,
forever Stifler. Like, so he got typecast, and that kind of stinks because like nobody really knows him as a human being. Everybody could separate Kutcher from all of his little characters,
of course,
but poor Stifler is out here just stiffing it up.
I'm wondering why United and JetBlue and American Airlines are charging me so much money to fly across the country,
right?
When these things fly themselves,
yeah,
because it's a similar technology. It's not like the Army or the Marines just have this flying technology where for 24 hours a plane could just be like,
Wasn't that where autopilot came from? Like, I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but
what, from the government?
Isn't the concept of cruise control and autopilot from?
I just want to know why it's $50 for a bag and your pilot's hitting a button and I'm flying to California.
I want to know whose idea was like,
dumb.
And
you can't find it for 24 hours? Yeah. Like, you don't have an air tag on it or anything? Like, what are you guys doing? I got an air tag on my luggage. If it's gone for like 8 hours, I know where it is.
Like,
you know what I mean? Like, give me a break here.
So great.
You guys can't keep track of a jet? A $1 jet? I also want to know how uncomfortable it is. Like, you have the pilot and you got to make that, like, we've all had to make those horrible calls to our boss where we're like, dude, are you sitting down? I got something to tell you. How do you phrase that?
I don't know. And also, like, I always think about some of the optics in our country. Like, we do a lot of great things, but this is one of those things where everybody else is like, did you hear about what happened in America?
Or the rich kids that have too much stuff to play with. It's like when the rich kid their parents buy them a new car for their 17th birthday, and 2 weeks later they total it.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh, we'll get a new car. Like, and the fact that I understand, look, the media is going to be the media no matter what, but you're the government. Don't you think you'd tight lip a little bit of this stuff?
A little bit. Like, that's, yeah, we just found out about UFOs. You could have kept that jet a little more private.
Seriously, yeah. Keep aliens a secret for 60 years from us, but as soon as you lose one jet,
please dial this number if you see our jet flying.
And that's the other thing. Then they like post something or ask for help if you see this. Like, what is the?
I want to meet the person that was like, why don't we just ask?
Also, you ever like hear a plane and you don't see it?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there's a plane, and you look up. You're, where'd it go? I hear it. Where is it? I feel like
that's what they were doing. No, it's so great.
You can't make this stuff up, man.
Man.
If this show was 3 hours, I swear to God, man, that's
spend it all on the jet.
Still wouldn't be enough time.
It for me, like, when I just think about it, it's like, geez, like, everybody, safest way to travel. Fine, like we're protected, like, radar, sonar, like, no fly zones. Like, this thing's just.
That's the other thing. Is it like a Tesla? Does it avoid other planes in the air? Like, what happens if this thing ran into
ghost
something?
Ride your bike as a kid? That's what this guy just did with $1 billion jet. He's just like, see ya.
I feel like it's a wagon and the one tire falls off and just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. It's just I can lose a kid teaching and I will never work again. This guy's going to be he was probably already in another plane by now. Also, he probably jumped in another plane to look for his first plane. That's probably what he did.
No offense. Like, I don't know anything about the military or what was going on. Maybe they were losing oxygen in the cockpit. I don't know. But what I do know is it sounds like they had like 24 hours to make a decision if they had to leave the plane. So, but
Yeah, they weren't in a
digress.
rush. That's
Thank
for
God
sure.
everybody's safe. That's more valuable than anything. But yeah, and also they found debris that they assume is that jet.
Right, that's the other thing. They're like, "Oh, this could be it, but I don't know."
Could also be an old shed in somebody's backyard. We're not sure.
Oh my God. Lastly, Wallet Hub did a report of the happiest states in the United States.
In the United States. State
Allow
does
myself to introduce myself.
allow Mike the historian to chime in here. State does mean country, so we are the United Countries of America. So state and country is the same thing. So we're the United States. That's why state rights are so important, because technically it's 50 different countries.
Okay, and I am now more confused than when
Than
I
ever.
started
Conversation.
this. This is okay. So the happiest states in America. So Wallet Hub. Now, granted, I have to make this disclaimer. Happiness comes from a combination of internal and external factors. So if you guys are living in one of these states and miserable, the problem is you, obviously. But they separate into 3 different categories, and they rank them 1 through 50. Emotional and physical well-being of the people in the state, work environment of the people in the state, and community and environment. And I'm not too sure what that breaks down to as far as like community, but you got to think just a sense of belonging to a particular community. Anyway, the number 1 state, the happiest state in the US,
Right.
Utah.
I feel like they forced. I don't know. My brother goes to Utah. He's got family there.
Yeah,
so
I know.
wanna-
Listen.
Yeah.
The Mormon community is huge there.
Yeah.
I feel like, you ask one wife, your second wife's going to say the same thing, and the third and the fourth. Like Utah, you know what I mean? Like you're planning your dream vacation in stateside, by the way. And you're like, you know what, honey? Let's like your brother goes to Utah because he visits family. He's not going to Utah to go to Utah.
Still fun. They have like all these random
He
like
has to say that.
Yeah, no, I know, but they have like a lot of like bounce houses and like things like that, like climb U's and things that kids like to go on, like the Ninja Warrior like gym type stuff. They have a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, dude, there's no doubt that people can be happy in Utah. As far as your emotional and physical well-being, they were ranked number 16. But for work environment and community environment, which is of course
the
is
extra
number,
wives,
it's number 1. Yeah, I mean, tell me about it. Like my environment, I don't know if I'd be happier with more wives. But they got the total score because they're number 1 in 2 categories, and it averaged out to like a 69.79.
Nice.
Scored nice. I know. But what's funny is you look at this list.
Okay.
Top 3, Utah, then Hawaii, paradise.
Hell yeah.
Paradise that competes with some of the most beautiful islands in the world.
Right.
The Hawaii, the string of islands that's just, I went there last year. It was I would live there if I would afford it or could afford it. They're ranked number 2. It's hard to think in my head that Utah's better or happier than Hawaii. You know what I mean? Like
you've been missing out, pal.
Yeah. If you're in Hawaii, you're like, you having a good time? I'm like, yeah, it's no Utah, but I mean, it'll do. And then we go down all the way to Maryland is number 3. Have you been to Baltimore?
I have been.
Have you been to Baltimore?
Yeah, Baltimore is a mess right now.
Baltimore has 5 square miles that you can be somewhat entertained in. And then after that, forget it.
Yeah.
Absolutely forget it.
That's fair.
Oh my God. The reason we're telling you this, Philly, is because New Jersey, your neighbor state, is ranked number 5. So top 5, baby. We made it. We're ranked number 3 for emotional and physical well-being, which is crazy to me.
Yeah,
absolutely insane.
It's only down from here.
Yeah, like emotional and physical. Like you guys know what the weather is like here, right? Like it's not. I don't understand how any warm weathered state, like how is Florida's number 8. All right, that's pretty close. But like how are the southern, like even I think I would feel like Arizona would make top 10. Actually, let me scroll down.
Well, you got to think we're an hour in most parts of Jersey away from Philadelphia.
Right.
No more than an hour and a half away from New York.
Okay.
So that's exciting in itself. There's so much going on in those 2 major cities. And you can make so much work, so much the economy so much better. And like if that was its own country, just that tri-state right there, holy smokes, we'd be, the biggest country in the world. So like you think about all that. You also think about pork roll. The whole rest of the world doesn't have it.
They have Taylor ham.
Yeah,
which is
or Canadian
ridiculous.
bacon, right?
Unreal.
But yeah, so you got to weigh that in, and the Italian food market, like just
I'll give you
Italian
that.
food in Jersey.
Well, Jersey, New York,
Unreal.
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's there's a lot going on in a small place. You got a lot to go to. Minnesota beat us out at number 4. I mean, I guess it depends on what day of the week, whether or not the Vikings win or lose.
Right.
But yeah, Connecticut's right after us. You got to go all the way down to number 16 to get to New York, and then all the way down to 25. But keep in mind, the East Coast of Pennsylvania is a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, we're not
than
talking
the
about
West
Philly.
Coast of
But
Pennsylvania.
you could argue that with New York too, right? Because New York, you end up
New York.
Yeah,
the further north you
upstate
go,
New York, you're just like
Buffalo is ridiculous.
Yeah,
I wish they should do this by city.
Agreed.
I think it would be a heck of a lot different. But check it out on Wallet Hub, the happiest states. If you're not in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, you can figure out where your state ranks. And if you're in Utah, you're living the good life, baby. Don't give it up. Coming up next, we got to take a short break. It's prime time. We're going to talk about Deion Sanders because everybody else is doing it. We don't want to miss out. Catch us next at the
You're listening to The Divide right here on The Gambler.
And we are back. Last segment, let's talk some Deion Sanders. The rest of the world is. Pac-12, he's ranked number, where I just had it. Second in Pac-12, Colorado Buffaloes. They're now 3-0.
It's unbelievable.
It is. True test going up against Oregon tomorrow at 3:30. That should be a really, really good game. He's in the news because of what people call his antics.
Yeah.
When a lot of people I feel like they don't give him a chance. He's flashy.
Yeah.
But he's worked hard for everything he's got.
I agree.
And we have they sat down with him on College Game Day. They picked his brain about football, of course, but they talked to him a lot about baseball and the other sports he played, and he had this to say.
Played football, you played baseball,
nice in basketball,
all state basketball, and now you're a coach. What's the hardest one?
Hitting that baseball.
It's harder to
Hitting that baseball. Hitting that baseball.
Right.
Yeah, that baseball ain't no joke. That's why they fail 7 out of 10 times and they still making 400 million here.
And he's not wrong.
No, yeah, it's a failing sport for sure. You're 30%, right? To hit, it's the hardest thing to do. I mean, but to put in perspective, this man did it at an elite level in the World Series while still playing football at the same time.
Flew from a Falcons game, to play
in a Braves World Series game. Yeah, he played 3 out of 5, batted over 300. His lifetime batting average is insane. Just all around insane athlete. And that work ethic is unknown to anybody. And now he's doing it on a coaching level.
He's smart.
He is.
I mean, we've talked about him before. We can't stop talking about him.
Mm-hmm.
People want to play for him.
Yeah.
And honestly, even if he was 0-3, I feel like it would be the same.
I agree.
A lot of big headlines. I know Colorado State coach said something about his sunglasses and fuel to the fire. I know The Rock was there. He kind of has been annoying me lately.
No, it's funny because he's back on Raw. He's on ESPN now.
Well, it's the apology tour. You know that, right?
For what?
So him and Oprah, they went on and did the donate to Hawaii thing. We're donating this much money. Well, people did digging. They didn't donate as much as they said they would donate.
All right, we need tinfoil hats.
Yeah. He's on an apology tour trying to get well liked again, which, look, I'm not the first one to be like, you got all this money, donate it. Like, dude, Oprah, you don't have to give a dime to everybody.
They have outlets.
What I mean?
They have 2 of the biggest followings. So
right. But don't get on social media with Oprah standing behind her like, oh, we got your back. We're donating this much money. And then people are going to see that you didn't.
Yeah.
Don't say it. Just say we're here to help out and keep it.
The church does it all the time. At Peyton's baptism, I'll quote the priest. He said, "We don't need your money. We just want it."
Yeah.
So
it's a church I can follow.
Yeah.
It's kind of honest and refreshing. Yeah. I agree.
It's just so I don't know. Like, what I do know is the strike is the reason why we're seeing more Rock, in my humble opinion. You're seeing on WWE.
The writer's strike.
Yeah, the writer's strike, everything going on right now. They can't make movies. So all of a sudden, John Cena and The Rock are back in their original forum, and that's wrestling.
Yeah.
So it was an awesome week for that. WWE is now partnered with UFC, creating a company called TKO. So it's the end of the McMahon era. They're still involved some way, somehow, but it was like just a breath of fresh air seeing guys that should be around
How was
the
Pat
sport a
McAfee
lot
there?
more. He's been great for wrestling. Last
Really?
5 years, Pat McAfee, and like Jerry the King Lawler style announcing, he's been awesome.
He annoys me so damn much.
I get that, but he's good at wrestling too. He's good, man. You know,
Oh my
so I don't know, and he's Mr. ESPN right now. So you're gonna see
He
him
is.
everywhere.
He's everywhere, dude. He's every day, every minute. Pat McAfee. That's why I hate him. Is you
can't
can't get
away.
rid of him. Like
No.
he's just there. Oh yeah, I think he's just.
ESPN needs him too. My
Does
humble
he have his
opinion.
own brand of tank top? I feel like he should
He
have his
should,
own brand
yeah.
of tank top. Can
I'd
we,
be
Pat?
shocked
Can we
if he
reach
didn't.
out to us? Let's collaborate. We'll get our own brand of tank. You gotta have. If you don't have one by now, what are you doing?
Somebody mentioned you were wearing a Penn State University shirt. One of our followers, they were excited.
A few weeks ago, yeah.
a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
But that's from Rodak, right? So you knew, or why do you have that?
No. My grandfather was a huge Penn State
shirt?
fan.
There you go. Yeah, they were
Yeah.
asking like your connection to Penn State.
Yeah.
So
Well,
couldn't remember.
after I was gonna, after the Sandusky thing, I really I'm kidding. No.
Yo, that's like when
No.
we were in Ohio, everybody kept asking where we were. And it's like,
Sandusky,
Sandusky,
Ohio. Sandusky, Ohio.
it's such a bad name.
Man, that you talk about look, it wasn't the university's. Well, let me rephrase. It wasn't the student body's fault for everything that happened. The
And they're
university
such
swept a lot
great
under
student
rug, and
body.
it was such an insane football program, just
Mhm.
great athletic program in general. And they took the blunt force of the
Of a
you know
terrible person.
exactly.
Yeah, that's horrifying in any outlet. It's just so upsetting that it happened there because of the fact that the fan base is so cool.
Mhm.
I mean, their Taco Bell went out of business and they had a candlelight vigil for it. That's
Yeah.
the type of
Yeah.
school it is. It's so cool. And anybody you meet from
Why
Penn
did the Taco
State-
Bell go out of business?
I think it just moved, but they
Okay.
for
I
whatever
was gonna
reason.
say, you're just like I wouldn't don't hold the candlelight
vigil
for it.
You
You're the
should have
reason
been
it
there.
went out of business. You should have had a chalupa or
That's
something.
fair. Maybe the guy hit the lottery and he
Spend less
bounced.
money on candles and more
Yeah.
money on cheesy fiesta potatoes. Dude, now I'm craving Taco
Yeah,
Bell, man.
yeah.
I'm hungry. Let's get back to Deion Sanders because we were talking about him at some point. in time.
He's got the whole world talking college football. Like
Mhm.
I've always been against it. Now I'm kind of for it because like he's changing it.
and
you
he's
know?
a class act. So,
Yeah.
and the reason I want to bring this up is Colorado State player.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get his name in a minute.
Talked about his mama, or
No, was receiving
coach?
death threats.
oh geez, yeah.
Linebacker, or I'm sorry, defensive back Henry Blackburn. I
Mhm.
don't know if you saw it. Really late hit, like egregious.
Mhm.
He was 3 steps out of bound and he still ran over and hit him.
Yeah.
Before the game went into double overtime, and before the
Yeah.
game was even over, someone had leaked the player's cell phone number, his mom or his parents' cell phone number. And it just insane. What people have to remember is their kids. And class act Deion, it was mentioned in a press conference.
Mhm.
And mind you, this was his player. He got hurt. His
Yeah.
player went to the hospital,
Mhm.
and he said, "Look, the kid forgave him. I forgive him. The team forgives him. This is a kid. He made a stupid mistake.
Yeah.
Let's move on. No reason to threaten him. If this is just a game, you lose your mind sometime in this game. Like that's how you know that he's a class act. And a lot of people are still shaming him like
Yeah.
he's too flashy for this college football
And
deal.
it's a kid. They're on national television. They're children. They're not getting paid, and they're so accessible. Like you can't find the address to athletes that we know.
Right.
Like we don't know their addresses.
Death threats, like
they're
come- like,
protected.
death threat, like
Yeah.
this is sports. It's college sports, and you're
Exactly.
talking threatening someone's family.
It's
Come
nuts.
on.
Absolutely nuts.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
But Deion is good for college football, dude. If he pulls this off tomorrow against Oregon, we're gonna have to spend all of next show talking
Yeah.
about him.
It's cool, man. I'm hooked. I've watched him play now at 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. So it's crazy. It's good for the sport. It's good for college. It's going to change the game. It's going to give advantage student athlete.
Oh yeah.
And it's just remarkable. And I can't wait to see him head coach of the Cowboys in 2 to 3 years because it's coming. It's coming.
Ooh, I can't believe you said that.
It's coming.
I can't believe you said that.
It's coming.
The 3-0 Ducks against the 3-0 Buffaloes. We got to go, guys. Check us next week. The Divide live on Fox Sports The Gambler.